Now, web development has changed so much throughout the years, and we went from a simple server render HTML all the way to a dynamic web application, where now we have so many web rendering strategies to render our web application. And in this video, I'm going to show you how each of those web rendering strategies work, and what are the pros and cons for each of those strategies, and when to use it inside of our web application to optimize our web performance. Now, you might be wondering, what is web rendering strategy? So web rendering strategy is strategy to render the web to the customer. For example, similar to a restaurant service process. Right? So for example, we have our customer trying to take an order and request for food. And once the order has been sent to the kitchen, or think of kitchen as like a server, right? Server will receive the order and prepare the food. And then once the meal is ready, this meal can be able to deliver to the customer. And when the meals are ready, and there could be many types of meals, right? It could be something like we have a pre-cooked food, which is similar to a static site generation, where the food is pre-cooked beforehand and is going to serve to the customer, right? So it looks something like this. Or we could have something like this, where the food is prepared and it's going to refire. So we have a refire cold plate. It's going to refire the food when we deliver to the customer, right? So that could be something like an incremental static regeneration, which we're going to learn about this in this video. And we could also have something like a cooked dishes food, where the food has been cooked in the kitchen and served to the customer. And that's going to be the server-side rendering. The other one is something like do-it-yourself, where the kitchen will be able to pass the ingredients and the unprepared food, and it's customer's job to prepare them on their end. And that's similar to a client-side rendering, where the JavaScript files, the HTMLs are all sent from the server to the client, and then the client browser will basically compile those files and be able to serve to the customer. So use the restaurant service process as an example, and you can see that basically web rendering is kind of like the strategies or different ways to deliver the content to the customer. And to start, we're going to first talk about the static site generation for the web rendering strategy. Now, static site generation is more for content that's rarely changed, where the content is static, for example, like a blog post or articles, right? So for example, first we have our content can be stored in a database. When the customer requests for this information, all the JavaScript code and the HTMLs are all going to be compiled in this building process. It's going to fetch the data from the content creation database, right? And once it's done compiling and generate to a static files, then we can be able to deploy this to the CDN, which is Content Delivery Network. And we're going to deploy this to a CDN edge. And then if the customer requests for this information, for example, this blog post, and then we first going to check to see if the CDN edge has this information, right? So for example, it could be like a hash table, right? We check to see key is going to be the route, and this is going to be the static file. And if we have the static HTML file inside of our cache, then we can be able to deliver this to the customer. If we don't have it, then we're going to first fetch it from our original server, and then we're going to compile it, just going through the process that we just mentioned, and eventually deliver this to the clients. And if there's no information, for example, if the file is not available, or we're not able to generate this file, then we can be able to handle the error and display the error message, right? So you can see that's basically the way how the static generation for the web rendering strategy works. It simply just pre-renders the pages at build time, which can be cached at the CDN edges and serve quickly when user requests for it. And to give you an example of a static site generation in next.js allows us to export an async function called getStaticProps, and this function will be called at the build time. So basically what happened is that when we build a page, next.js allows us to export an async function, and this function name is called getStaticProps, which will be triggered at the build time. So here inside of this function, we call an external API endpoint. And once we have the post data, we're going to return this. Then this block component can be able to render the list of posts on the page. Now to conclude this, there are some benefits of using this. One is to reduce the server load. And because we have generated the files and store this inside of our CDN, then we can be able to reduce our server load. Each server can be able to retrieve this data from the CDN network. And this also improves our SEO. And because all the information are stored in these static files, then in this case, the crawler can be able to crawl from the static files to rank in the search engines. And it also sets for lower cost because again, we are deployed to the CDN, and whenever user requests for it, it's going to retrieve that from the CDN network. And some consideration to consider using this strategy is that it's suitable for static content. So if the content doesn't change very much, then we can be able to store this in a CDN network. However, if the content can be dynamic or can change frequently, then we can consider something called the incremental static regeneration, which is the next web rendering strategy we're going to talk about. Now, very similar to the static site generation for ISR, which in this case, we user requests for the information, right, the data, and then we first check to see if it's stored in the cache, like the CDN. If it does, then we're going to serve it to the clients, right, from the cache. And if the page content does not contain in the cache, then we're going to build this data and serve it to the clients. And the building process is going to be very similar to the static site generation. And for the static site generation, you can see that we have our building process, and then it's going to generate the static pages, and it's going to deploy to CDN and serve it to the clients, right? And the process is going to be very similar, but the key difference is that when we build in the page, we're going to generate an empty page, and it does not have any data. And then it's going to fetch the data from our database, from our servers, right? And once we have our data is being fetched, then we can be able to build our page and put together, right? And we can be able to update our cache and serve it to the clients. And let's say if the article is going to be changed in the future, right, changing the content, then we're simply just going to fetch the new data, and we're going to update our build page, and it's going to also update our cache, and it's going to serve it to the customer. This way, the data has been fetched after the page has been built, so that this will reduce the number of build times that we have in a production. And in terms of benefits, one of the benefits is the on-demand content updates. Let's say if you have a blog post or e-commerce store, and there are contents that are going to be updated constantly, then this is going to be a very suitable strategy. And it also inherits the static site generation benefits like the SEO friendly, reduce the server load, as well as the low cost. But one of the considerations that we need to consider using this strategy is the managed cache, because here you can see the content is going to be refetched based on the cache strategy that we're going to use. For example, we're going to revalidate the page, or in this case, we're going to refetch the data every 60 seconds or 60 minutes or so and so time based on the cache strategy that we're going to specify. And to give you an example how it works, here you can see we're using a getStaticProps function, which is an async function, and here you can see we're fetching data and return the data to the props, right? And then the page component using this props data. But here you can see we specify the revalidate policy. So we're going to have this function re-triggers every 60 seconds, and it's going to update the cache. Now the next web rendering strategy is going to be the server-side rendering strategy. And this one is going to be very similar to the previous one that we talked about, but the difference is that everything is done on the server side. So for example, let's say we have our client is going to send a request to the web server, and the web server is going to fetch the data from our database, and then from there is also going to render the HTML, right? It's going to compile the JavaScript code, and it's going to process the data. And once we have the HTML return, we can be able to return the clients, or if there's any real-time communication going on, we can also do real-time communication, right? Or we can also be able to retrieve data from real-time communication cache, and then be able to send the full HTML page to the client. Now, the benefit of using a client-side rendering is that we're getting a up-to-date content compared to SSG or ISR, and we're also getting a better SEO optimization compared to client-side rendering. And some things to consider using the server-side rendering is that it consumes more server resource because everything is done on the server side, and all is returned is a simple HTML page. Now, next.js also supports server-side rendering. On my YouTube channel, I have a 7-hour course on how to build a full-stack web application using next.js and the server-side rendering feature that we just mentioned. Things like routings or authentications, or things like how to add features like features or image upload feature, real-time communication, filtering, paginations in this 7-hour tutorial. So if you're interested, feel free to check this video, and the link is down below. All right, so the next one we're going to talk about is the client-side rendering strategy. And this one is going to be our traditional single-page application. Frameworks like React, Angular, Vue, and the way how it works is that the server will send the HTML and the JavaScript bundle, right? All the JavaScript packages to the client, and the client browser will basically compile those things and renders the web application to the customer. And the benefits of using this is that it's highly interactive. So you're getting a high interactive experience, and everything is compiled on the client side. But one consideration that we need to consider of using this type of a strategy is that it lacks of SEO optimization, because the server only sends an empty HTML and the JavaScript bundle. When the crawler crawls the HTML, it's only seeing an empty HTML page, which will result in a lack of SEO optimization. And that's basically the client-side rendering strategy. Now, the last one we're going to talk about is the partial pre-rendering. Now, partial pre-rendering uses all the things that we just mentioned. So for example, we can use static site generation for maybe the homepage layout or static parts of our page. And then we can also use the incremental static regeneration for example, like product listings, or we can also use the server-side renderings for the search result pages, right? For the product personalized recommendations, right? Where it requires the SEO SEO optimization. And all in all, you can see that partial pre-rendering contains all the strategies that we just mentioned throughout this video. And just to recap everything that we talked about in this video, we went over 5 different web rendering strategies, like the static site generation, which is more suitable for content that doesn't change. And we also have our incremental static regeneration, which is suitable for static content that changes periodically. And we also went over server-side rendering, which the data and the statics files are all generated from the server side and sent to the client side. So nothing being done on the client. And client-side rendering basically means that the JavaScript and the HTML will all send from the server to the client, and it's the client-side job to render this web application to the users. And partial pre-rendering means that we can be able to have different rendering strategies for each part of our web application. So these are all the 5 web rendering strategies that we learned in this video, and I hope you find this video helpful. If you do, please make sure to like this video, subscribe for more future content.